Welcome back to the TexAgs Rewind, sponsored by Specs, 4-time Retailer of the Year. I'm Ava Davis, and I'm here with Jess Wills. Jess, what was your favorite part of the Rewind today?
My favorite was with OB. What was your favorite part?
So I really enjoyed getting to hear from Kendall Rogers of D1 Baseball. Today on the Rewind, we have OB, Sean Harris, Jason Howell, and Kendall Rogers. Check it out.
OB, so Billy was on the show yesterday. And he worked, obviously, he's on very often with us. We're talking about Michael Early and his future and what Trev Alberts is probably going through right now. And I think Trev kind of copycatted, if that's the way to phrase it, what Billy was saying. Not that he was copying him, but that the playbook is, I've spoken to Coach Early and we'll evaluate things. Let's listen to him, because you're the one who asked the question, talking about the state of the baseball team and Michael Early's future.
Well, I'm not prepared to talk about the baseball program right now. Obviously, they just got done playing in Hoover, and we had these meetings here in Destin. So I've had a little bit of communication with Michael, but I'd love to get back to College Station, sit down with him, and sort of recap. So I think it's good to spend a little time, both he and I, as we kind of assess the situation. Obviously, he would tell you the exact same thing. We had some highs in baseball. Clearly, we fell short. It was a frustrating season and disappointing on a lot of different levels. But at the appropriate time, we'll be able to talk about baseball. There's always an economic factor, right, to making decisions. But I can assure you, in this situation, those decisions are not being driven economically. We'll do what we think is in the best long-term interest of our baseball program and our athletic department.
OB, what takeaways do you take? What takeaways do you take from what Trev said yesterday?
The way I see it, let me see if this does this.
It might be on our end, OB. Just talk. We'll figure it out.
Okay. I hesitate to put words in Trev's mouth, but my take from that is that I want to get back to College Station and fire somebody in person, and not. Now I may be way off on that, but. And then he says, economics, which is one of the reasons, we always wonder, hey, do they want to, with what they're paying Jimbo and with budgets the way they are now, do you want to pay anybody not to coach, right? So does that give more job security? And yet he said, hey, economics is not going to be an issue with this. Maybe you can look at that both ways, but I just get the feeling that when you say, well, we're not going to discuss it here. I'm going to get back to College Station, meet with. Yeah, I mean, all those things is what you would do anyway. You would. But I just kind of got that feeling. And again, I may be way off, but that's kind of the way I read it.
How much weight does that carry in a playoff environment where college football is considering going to 16 teams?
Well, I think the one thing about strength of schedule that's always kind of gotten me is it is very subjective. And I think what we get caught a lot of times is, well, that team is better than that team. Well, that team is better than that team, especially in college football, because teams don't play everybody. And it's not like the NFL where everybody is on the same rules, the same CBA, everything the same in the NFL. Everybody's got the same salary cap number. Everybody plays the same amount of games. Everybody plays the same amount of games that are in the division. Everything in the NFL is the same. The college football is not that. And so what we get a lot of times in college football is, well, this team is better than that team. Well, how do you know? Well, look at the talent of the team. Well, yeah, I've said this probably a million times. Because the team is talented doesn't mean the team is better. It just means that team has a lot of talent. And to me, the team is actually worse if it's a team like Alabama and it's got all this NFL talent and it's losing to Vanderbilt, who does not have all the NFL talent. So which team is better? The one that ends up winning the actual matchup itself, or the one that has more draftable talent? And I think we get caught in that in college football. And so when you talk about strength of schedule, well, yeah, because, and typically it's the case. Typically it is the SEC is going to have more talent than everybody else. Are they better teams? In most cases, yes, but not always. And so who's to say that Ole Miss doesn't go to Notre Dame and get beat by 30 like Indiana does? I mean, we don't know. I don't think it would have happened. And I think what's our answer to all that? Our answer to all of that is, oh, well, Ole Miss is more talented than Indiana. But was Indiana a better team? And there have been years, and you know this, watch A&M football, where the better teams, David, didn't have the best talent.
The ranking updates, because I know that you guys went through it and made some adjustments. And let's start off with number 1, Jermaine Bishop, the number 1, 2026 in the 5 stars. What is he, number 5 on the list, but he's the top Aggie. Is that correct?
No. Okay, so Jermaine Bishop is the number 1 overall.
Number 1, excuse me. Sorry, yes. Sorry. Jonathan Hatton is the number 1 Aggie.
Jonathan Hatton, and the number 1 back in the state of Texas. And new number 1. But on Jermaine Bishop, Texas A&M has been part of that recruitment for a long time. It came down to Texas A&M, Texas, and Houston pretty much there towards the end. But this ranking has nothing to do with this college choice. We've been a huge fan of Bishop's game since we started the ranking process, and just an all-around athlete, a lockdown cornerback with explosive ability with the ball in his hand on the offensive side of the ball, recruit as an athlete. And but as far as Jonathan Hatton goes, you're talking about a 10,600-meter guy with a couple 1,000-yard seasons under his belt at one of the state's top programs in the San Antonio area, and just a big back, gets downhill in a hurry, and we love what he brings to the table. This is a every down SEC back that brings a complete game to the table.
With the profile that Hatton brings and his ability to be just a game changer, do you see him maybe being somebody that could tip the scale with others because of his commitment to A&M?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely been in the ear of some guys. He's highly respected with among the recruits out there, the prospects in the state of Texas. I think that's a guy that a lot of prospects in the state look to, and he is one of the top committed prospects in the state. I think right now he would be there's Bishop, Henderson, and Hatton, and Hatton would be right up there with the best of the best.
Look, I'm just going to get right to it. You said you would be very surprised if A&M stands pat with Michael Early last week. Trev Alberts yesterday was asked about the coaching situation. He said he would deal with it when he gets back, that he'll talk to Michael Early. Have your thoughts evolved? Where do you stand today?
I'm still in the same spot. I mean, I think if you, again, I know Mike well, I'm friends with him. I do think when you analyze the A&M situation for Trev Alberts, in today's game of college baseball, and frankly any college program in any sport, when you have a quick change like that, and if you have an opportunity to right the ship, you take that opportunity. And I think everything that I've heard behind the scenes indicates that a change is coming. I think anyone who looked at Trev Alberts' comments yesterday would probably come to the same conclusion that a change is likely coming. Because here's the thing. If you're standing pat with your current situation, you're probably making it known already that you're going to do that. Like you're not waiting a week to go, oh, actually we're going to keep our coach. No, you come out, 3 days later and say, we're going to keep our coach. He's our guy. We're moving on. So, I mean, the tea leaves here point to what we're all hearing kind of behind the scenes. And, for A&M, I just think, it's one of those situations to where they have an opportunity to go out and get a really good coach. And I think if you have that opportunity, I think in this scenario, I think you take it.
Well, Kendall, we're going to have plenty of opportunities, you mentioned, to talk about a coaching change if there is one to be made and what A&M, the job looks like on the other side of that. But I want to ask you, with balancing the coverage of regionals and postseason play, which is obviously priority number one for y'all, how are you going about covering what could be in the pipe for scholarships, rev share with this House settlement, and how big of an impact do you expect it to have on college baseball as a whole?
It's going to have a huge impact. I mean, just to give you an idea, to give you like how different the SEC schools are going to be just within the conference. I saw Trev came out yesterday saying that, from a scholarship standpoint, A&M was going to be, essentially full scholarship across the board for the major sports. Thought that was really interesting and kind of what I expected. But when you look at rev share across this conference, there's a program, in the SEC that's going to do $800,000 rev share. I've heard there's programs that are going to do $150,000.
Everyone like, share, and comment Batman.